Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we have a Manassas campaign for you. Our first round is going to be the Roulette Lane, followed up by Stefan's Lot, a map that I have not seen a lot. Before we get into that, thank you to our Patreon members for the support. If you'd like to support, go to the link in the description where you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. So, regiments on the CSA campaign tonight, you have Mississippi Brigade, 5th Virginia, 10th Tennessee, I Corps, Jackson's Division, and the 12th Virginia. Whereas on the Union campaign side, you have Iron Brigade, Sussex Brigade, Corn Brigade, 10th United States, 5th New Hampshire, and the Missouri State Guard. Now, 5th New Hampshire was balanced over to the other side. And another note is the CSA campaign, so the guys on the left side of your screen are playing Union both rounds, and the USA campaign guys on the right side of your screen are playing on CSA for both rounds tonight. Server pop as of right now is 260. In balance right now is 5. Towards the CSA side now 7. So thanks to 5th and H for balancing over and fixing that. CSA doesn't have artillery. Union does, and they have 13 on it. So that 7-man imbalance is now a 20-man infantry imbalance in favor of CSA. That is a lot. Frontline reporters for today's fight. For your Union side, you have Starr here from the 5th Virginia. Opposite side, you have Articus from the 1st Maryland, or Twin Banners. So appreciate these guys for their frontline view so we can see what's going on the field and up in the sky at the same time. And co-commentating with me today, we have Meat Cutter from the 14th Tennessee. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me tonight. Meat Cutter here from the 14th Tennessee. As you said, hopefully these should be two really good maps here. I'm really excited to see how roulette goes with this 20-man imbalance.
Yes, so it should be good. The ticket imbalance for Roulette Lane is a 44% ticket advantage to the CSA, so they have a lot of that. However, as these server pops get higher and higher, Union has a lot more guys to defend, and so they've been winning this a lot more from what I have seen. Weapons on this map, though, Union has 1st Delaware with the Enfield and the 14th Indiana with the Springfield 61. CSA, on the contrary, is the 3rd Arkansas with the Enfield and the Springfield 42, so buck and ball, and then they have the 27th North Carolina with the Enfield, Springfield 55, and the Springfield 42. Anyways, Meat Cutter, as CSA starts to get a little aggressive here, they're charging some guys center there. In your opinion, what should the strategy be for both sides on this map?
Yeah, well, I think this is really simple to see here just by the ground that they're fighting on. Obviously, the USA is going to have the big hill to their advantage. That snake rail fence that they can line up on as they are right now and duking it out with the CSA coming up the hill. Alternatively, the CSA, the advantage that they're going to have is that they're going to have some concealment, if some cover from that hillside, so they can get up really close if they get aggressive. Which it looks like they're stagnating now on their approach. Duking it out in the open is never really going to be your favor. So I'm interested to see maybe what their end game is. Maybe they're just trying to get everybody on the USA to deploy somewhere so that they can react with a later spawn. Sometimes that may be the meta, but I guess time will tell.
Yeah, it's been fascinating because you used to see CSA, at least from what I've experienced, it'll just charge in up on this far left side or charge the center, but with Union firepower, it's a lot more difficult, and it's going to be way more difficult too, especially since the weapons have been buffed like crazy. That bullet spread for most guns, or all guns at a minimum, that bullet spread decreased by 60%. Buck and ball's been nerfed a little bit. Buck and ball, shotgun right, you have the main pellet shot, and then you have a lot of mini pellets with it. Those milli pellets don't kill past 33 yards. They only damage. So if you get hit by one, you can be stabbed once and die instead of having to be stabbed twice. But it'll be fascinating.
Right, and
CSA is getting shredded.
Yeah, again, just to reiterate, I think this is going to be a good example here that they've got to close the distance. If you can attack the top of that hill and hold that, you're limiting how many rifles are looking at you, right? So you're going to be able to maximize your firepower over to the enemy. If you're hitting the bottom of the hill, it's a little harder because they can swing down on top of you. But again, if you can play it right, you can maximize how many rifles you have compared to theirs. And that's really what the game is tonight. Who's going to get there first is with the mostest.
So CSA get thrown off. We're a few minutes into this, and CSA is down half a morale stage. Union, it looks like they've taken nothing. That's...
Yeah. As expected, though, they're going to have to close the distance and really just get decisive with their action. What's the total server count right now?
Yeah, so it's 260. And I mean,
okay, so it's not a small server, right?
No.
So the problem here is that you're going to run into a lot of guys no matter where you go. So you have to get there with more. It's hard. It's definitely hard, and especially on this map where, I mean, you can see this defense you're rolling over right now. It's really defendable. You got that snake rail fence all the way up that hill, so you can almost get the entire team, get their rifles across that field. You got to limit the time that you're under the gun, which is a pain. But that's the name of the game here for these officers. Hopefully they can coordinate this.
Yeah, and just for everyone's information, they don't use a Steam chat in this event, so they got to talk in game. However, they can use the in-game text chat system. I normally don't have that up on my broadcast, but they can use that text chat to their advantage. And actually, we do see CSA movement. They're starting to split off here into kind of two different groups, which...
I've never seen anybody go that far east. Oh, well, no, I have. Okay, so they're in that wood line. Okay, gotcha. That's a fair position to get out there and maybe try to draw a larger force on the hill to pay attention to you, to be able to get everybody else to maneuver, right? But again, the question is, are they going to maximize the rest of the Union Army looking at this tree lot with one company out here, you know?
Indeed. Jeez, how does CSA even break through this? Like, I don't think spreading out's going to work.
Nope. No, it's first is with the mostest. So if they can take the top of the hill with their entire team, and then fight down, you know, that's going to limit how many rifles are facing them. And then ideally, you can get the numbers advantage and steamroll them. And, you know, if you can get the flags up, you can get your spawns in. But sitting down in these woods, you've got a large distance to cross. As you can see that hill that you're looking at in front of them. That's not a small distance to cross. They're going to have to run the entire time, hop a fence, get into melee, and then hold it from the counter charge coming up the hill, you know. That's a lot to ask out of these guys.
Yeah, so CSA's got 3 flags over here. And I don't know where that 4th flag is. It might be by the barn. It can't be in the barn. It's probably over here.
Okay. Well, looks like we got an attack going on towards the Union left there, up this. Again, a big open hill, but as you can see, they have more numbers, CSA, so if they can take advantage, maybe really take over the guns, which is a lot to ask, but if they can do that before the USA reacts, maybe that attack can go up on the hillside. It's really getting them to shift their positions around is going to be the way they break it.
So I've seen this a few times in other events. I don't know. Oh, I guess I'm not watching 500-player pubs as I've been doing. So I guess I gotta change that mindset a little bit. But in some of these events, what I've seen a team do is they will keep their flags on one side and have everyone charge down another side so that it pulls the defenders all to the side where the team's charging. And then while that charge is happening, people are respawning per se on the other side here. And then they can respawn in really quick and then hit up the side. I almost wonder if that could be a strat for CSA. That would be very hard to pull off. It's just hard too because Union. It's so.
I don't think that's what we're seeing here, though. Unfortunately.
No. It's just an idea that I'm spouting.
Yeah.
But
it looks like they're spread out, holding behind the barn, which is some bit of cover. But you can shoot through it. Artie can get through it, so it's a matter of time before it's just a ticket loss because you're not going to be able to bring your rifles to bear to make the ticket trade in your advantage.
Well, we heard that.
I'm getting anxious here because I really want to watch them push. But also, we have 34 minutes left, right? Exactly. The ticket loss is in the favor of the USA, but not entirely. This is not the end of the world. 34 minutes is enough to pull it out.
Yeah, I mean, as long as... I mean, the attackers can be down a whole morale stage and still win the game. Obviously, you don't want that, right? That would be like a final push breaking scenario. I don't know if I've ever seen that. But, like you said, they got plenty of time. They can try different things, see what works. But unfortunately, with that rough start, you can't do too much, or else you're gonna get too big in the hole. You gotta guess right.
USA has shifted a company over to meet on this push on the Union left here, so they're spreading their forces further out along that long what is a stone wall and picket fence there, right? But I I think the key here is if they can draw the forces off of that hillside, they can push it and take it. The Union's at an advantage here, though, because they can shift really quickly.
And the Union really seems to be doing that. And again, with these higher pop servers, Union has enough guys to defend basically the whole defensive line. And imagine what we get with 400, 500 players. How's this going to work for CSA?
Right. Can you imagine the amount of blood that would have to be shed to really just take ground, which I think is unique about the game, certainly, but a headache to solve for maps like this where the geography is in one team's favor, no question.
Directly northeast.
So, almost down to engage for the CSA. I mean, maybe they're trying to turn this into a shooting fight. I mean, you can definitely do that now since everything's a lot more accurate. But generally, I would think, like, shooting over these long distances, I think the kills are about 1-to-1, normally, in theory. And since the attackers have more tickets, the attackers could, in theory, slowly start catching up in tickets. I mean, there's so many variables going into shooting. That's why I say it's kind of a 1-to-1 trade in terms of kills.
The real problem with getting engaged into a shootout here is that it's a question of 1, time, and 2, position. Often you'll find in these maps that you can get some position in which you can engage the enemy from, but like these woods here, it's definitely nowhere near as strong as that hilltop behind a snake rail fence, you know, or down along the road where there's that stone wall. Sure, you may be attacking it through an orchard, or you have a barn, just kitty corner. But as you can see, all the guys in this barn, well, they're not really doing much. They're not bringing much effect there. They're just waiting to be hit, which they could capitalize on having these reserves. It's a question of will they.
Indeed, it is. They've backed off on the far right, the CSA. They're starting to shift a little more back towards the CSA left side. This shootout, I mean, both sides are kind of losing tickets at a similar rate, but it's not changing the needle, which is what you need at CSA right now.
Right. You do need a dramatic increase of ticket loss here, one way or the other. As again, we're at a 30-minute mark now, so it is still anyone's game if somebody makes a decision. But that's really a question here. I think the problem is when you get sitting here in a shootout, it's not in the attacker's favor usually.
Especially on the higher pops.
Right. And I may be biased here looking at, getting a little, not irritated, but, on the edge of my seat watching the CSA sit here and recuperate from that last assault that they tried to pull off. Hopefully now it looks like they're trying to maneuver. Again, if they can get behind the barn and everybody can yeet right up into that corner, they might be able to break it and disrupt that defense. At that point, it's a question of, the small engagement up to the individual soldier, and hopefully the best will out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love the charging. I mean, the longer this shootout goes, the more you're kind of questioning, like, all right, not too much isn't changing. And, I mean, Union's not even engaged yet, and at the latest you want to get them into engaged by the 30-minute mark, at least if you're keeping an even pace throughout the whole round. So CSA's got to do something here at some point, whether it be charging. Actually, the only thing they can do to bring that down is charging.
Yeah, and now it's a question of where can they get them to shift their forces and then, really assault into that position. Right here on this corner, it looks like it's pretty stout defense, and they've got enough numbers all up and down that line. I'm wondering about near where that farmhouse is over on the west side on the road. Maybe if they've drained enough of that company over there, or had them, reset back into their original position, perchance they might be able to hit it. You've got that position right there on the stone wall. It's pretty easy to slip through right in that bush and that snake rail fence. You can just walk through there. But from this angle, you can see the CSA is once again engaging in a shootout all the way across the map. So we'll see.
And it'll be interesting. Oh, some Union guys are pushing up here. Some
nice.
Guys. Oh.
Listen.
Pull now.
They have the ticket advantage. They can do stupid things.
They do.
You know, and that's one thing here, that if the USA is able to do some crazy things like that to make the CSA really hesitant about pushing forward, right? Because that's kind of what we're watching right now, is they've gotten their noses bloodied a little bit. And I don't want to read too much into this, but I assume now it's a question of, okay, well, where do we want to just mass our forces and push? And if nobody's going to make a decision, you know, when the USA pops out, you can see here now the only position over on the CSA right is this little company here in the orchard, which is to no advantage to anybody, right? They can now dominate this side of the field, maybe even turn the tide of battle to where the fight isn't actually the hill, but now it's just recuperating recovering their side of the field. So who knows how this will turn out.
We'll see. I'm intrigued to what your thoughts are going to be at the end of this, because you play in events and with regiments that are not in this event. This might be, I don't know if this is the first time you're seeing a lot of these regiments here, but I know.
You know, War of Rights is a small community, so I'm familiar with a lot of these guys, but certainly I'm seeing different play styles here compared to the events I might participate in.
Yeah, because going from Boy Howdy and War of Brothers over to Manassas campaign, which is this, or Smoke and Steel League, which is the Wednesday event that I now cover. I mean, it's, and then even going to EU, there's 3 different groups there. They all have their different strategies, and I think it keeps things unique and interesting.
Certainly, most definitely. As you can see here, as you're scanning over this line, it seems like it's thinned out a little bit on the snake rail. I question if that's because the USA is getting really confident in their position, or if they're reacting. And I think it's maybe a little bit of both. I'm not certain.
I can't tell. Tickets look very, very even right now.
But that's never good for the CSA here. Unfortunately, if they're even, then they're not at the advantage.
I'm saying they've caught up on tickets, though. At least it looks like.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Union was up a little bit, but I don't know if that's the case, because the bars seem longer than what it appears. So CSA's been at a very high engage for a while, and then the moment that bar starts going down and engage, it's going to drop a significant amount.
So the visualization of it may just be a little askew. That's fair.
Yeah, at least that's what I feel like it is.
Right.
But
look at 5th New Hampshire here, taking this ground, really dominating this orchard here. I mean, eliminating this approach here for the CSA. So it forces them now to commit via that avenue on the barn, which they can, but it's a question of will they.
Union hit engaged, 20 minutes into the round. Not... to me personally, now I know why the CSA is very hesitant to be aggressive and charge, right? Because you don't want to charge and completely get folded by the Union that has a lot better weaponry now. I mean, both sides do, but that's going to favor the defenders a lot more in a charge.
Yep.
And I get why you're hesitant with doing that, but if you wait and have this shootout for a long time at the beginning of the match, you're going to run out of time, you're going to be stressed with a limited time, and then you're not going to make smart decisions when it comes to the charging at the end of the game. I see it a lot on Pry House with CSA. That's a prime example for me, but...
I couldn't agree more. If you can get aggressive early on and try to dictate the pace of the match, I believe it definitely ends up in your favor. Whether you win or not, I think that allows you to spend your tokens rather than having them being pulled away from you. When it comes down to this, we have 25 minutes left. Enough time for a handful of charges, right? But as the clock goes down, you're going to see real quick, I would assume, just hell rushes right in the middle, unfortunately. But there seems to be no other approach even attempted, feasible here that they've seemed to see. They're hiding on the right and the left now. So
right. And look at that, the CSA bar in the past minute, it's dropped nearly a third. It's just what the heck. But
I think it's because they've sat here in these positions. So one thing I'm noticing is these positions that they're engaging from, unfortunately, are rises. They're not using the ground as best to their advantage. Again, a shootout really boils down to timing and positioning. If you have the time on the clock to your favor, you can take the time to really get accurate and drain those tickets. But if you also don't have the position to fight from, the problem is that you're ticketed. I mean, you're standing on top of a hill. it's easy for those guys above you to shoot down and just plunk in that 10 square feet that your whole line's standing in. It's unfortunate.
I will say, to the point of being aggressive early on, yeah, when you said win or lose regardless of what happens, I agree. Like, even if you lose those early charges and you're down on tickets, you still have plenty of time to adapt and change what you want to do.
What an asshole.
It's beautiful.
That was you, Willie. That was you.
I couldn't agree more.
I said,
Look inward.
I often am accused of being a little too aggressive, and I'll admit that. But I feel that often that if you can take those wild steps early on, either you get within the decision loop of the enemy, and then you can kind of dictate the pace going forward, or at least you can feel out how willing they are to duke it out. And that sometimes is another question, of whether they're willing to stand and fight, or in this map, that's kind of the only option they have. Whereas this next map, I believe it's a little bit larger, so we might be able to see, maybe some more engagements where you can give ground to your advantage and end up winning the fight, I guess is my point.
Yeah. It's fascinating because the historical rules event, the EU Sundays that I watch, that's the most strict event I would say in rules. Like, if you're above 15 guys, you have to be in double rank, and you've got to be really tight, and it's really strict with that. And they like to play it like that, and that's perfectly fine. Which I'm really excited to watch that on Sunday with the improved accuracy of guns. That's going to be so much fun to watch. But it's fascinating because a lot of those groups, Europeans tend to have more of a realistic and non-meta type of play, so they'll quick time a lot more, and they'll double quick. They'll not sprint, spread out in open order like that. So a lot of these groups do that type of double rank and that stuff. And then there's a couple EU groups like Army of Northern Virginia and 11 Mississippi, and they'll do what we're talking about, which is be super aggressive and charge nonstop and keep moving like that. And so it's funny watching them go off and do their own thing when the rest of the team kind of sits back sometimes.
I appreciate the variety this community offers. The different communities that have sprung up over the years, the different rule sets, depending on your pick and your fancy, you should be able to get some good gaming in. It's interesting here, though, as you're scanning over along this hillside, I'm seeing the USA defenses are completely depleted. It's now a question of whether the CSA is going to take advantage of it. Now they're pushed back, but if the CSA takes that snake rail fence, they can hold their own for a good minute, enough to drain tickets.
I'm gonna look back in the recording, but that ticket gap is, now that we're kind of in the middle of a morale stage, it seems like things have closed up. Yeah, I mean, if we go in the recording I have so far, the 33-minute mark, so 13 minutes ago, Union was up over half morale stage, and this shootout has 100% closed the gap.
Yeah, well, I guess
so,
I will say
guess they
this:
were smart
all
to do
of my, yeah, definitely, all of my experience thus far has to be pre this aiming update. And if anybody knows me, I can't hit anything worth a damn anyway. I can just scream a lot, but I would assume that if any of your guys are half as good as getting a shot out, these engagements can be nice and easy. You're really calm, but now they're pushing forward to see if they can take that ground, which I wish them luck. I don't know how much of the team is there, but it looks like they're compact enough to be able to make contact. Let's see if they can force it through. It looks like everybody's following up. Now, hopefully it doesn't push all the way up.
It is. At least that one flag is. I mean, usually if they push the flags up, it means they want to try to gain the ground. And they're trying to hold it, but they're only bringing one flag. CSA reinforcements are moving up. I see another flag heading up.
Now, I would, if I were them, and it looks like they're doing this, I would push towards the base of the hill. The only reason being is that everybody's going to be pushing, the USA team will be pushing up towards the top of the hill to be able to counteract this assault. But if they can just yeet themselves right up that stone wall that is now currently undefended, you can see they now have a stone wall and some ground to defend. But it looks like they're attacking the lower end of the formation still, a good position to assault. But I wonder if they'll be able to bring to effect all their guys here, because once again now on the same position. But it looks like they're holding.
Yeah, both
Here
sides.
comes the reinforcements from the USA, though.
Yeah, you got 2 Union flags coming up the bottom side.
Mm-hmm.
And CSA will force Union into taking losses. CSA have the ticket lead. 2 more CSA flags along with reinforcements moving up to the top. So CSA's condensing on the corner. And Union's not using any cover here. All of these CSA shots should be hits on these Union guys.
And buck and ball nonetheless. They're right, stepping right on each other's toes. So this should be prime positioning for the CSA here. As you can see, they got their flags right behind the line. As long as they keep them moving, you're going to catch a couple losses, but certainly those reinforcements will keep coming back up. Thank God for those 5-second respawns.
10-second respawns on the 500-man server.
Right, could you imagine?
Oh my goodness.
Now, that would play well to some rule sets, certainly. Unfortunately, not my cup of tea, I don't imagine. Looks like they've slowed down here, a little afraid of taking the fence line, which I can understand. You can see that big massing of the USA back there. I'm certain they're sitting on the caissons and the guns, just plinking away, having a merry old time. But the CSA, unfortunately, didn't really capture any ground beyond that fence there, and that assault seems to be stomped out here. Brought tickets down, which is good, obviously, if they can get them down to breaking. And cap point, that's, you know, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. But that's a question right now with the tickets being so neck and neck. Can they get that done?
It's interesting, too, because Union's kind of like half committing. Maybe they're trying to reinform and then push out like they are now, but if Union could get
There's
CSA
no
flags,
reason. There's no reason from the USA to commit fully. They have the hill. The CSA has to hop that fence line or bring everybody to bear, and at that point it's even Stevens, right?
Yeah.
It sucks, but right now, when you're pushing up that hill and you're taking that fence line, you have to not only break that line there, but take ground to be able to defend that position so that everybody can kind of file in.
It will throw them off, though. I would think, though, that if you're Union, you wouldn't want CSA to just get infinite respawns there and then just keep harassing you at close range with buck and ball. I'd much rather have CSA shooting me back here, but CSA's been winning the shootout from the distance, so maybe Union...
Yeah, and look at the ticket loss now, right?
Yeah.
After they got thrown off. If I were USA, I would even let them do it again. I would pull back and get a defensive position deeper on the hillside in the caissons and guns. Lighten up that line there up front as to encourage another assault, because that was only in the USA's favor.
Yeah, USA... I mean, the tickets were neck and neck, and now USA's jumped the lead again. So, Union... I mean, that'd be a good idea to do it again based on what we just saw. Union might be a little nervous, though, because we're kind of getting closer and closer to breaking. Union's still got a reasonable gap, but who knows what a charge could do to your tickets.
Yes, that is fair. Right now, as the defender, you do have to start playing a little more anticipating, really, these wild moves, right? If they can just get you down to breaking and cap that point, well, that's all it is. So hopefully we'll see a lot more condensed play that could be a little interesting here from both sides, frankly.
I was going to say this earlier, but it's funny because since the update happened, the whole idea of meta over the past year or so is basically gone, because now shooting can kind of work, and so that changes a lot of the maps. It's funny, I've done a lot of recordings that I had backlogged ready to post, but now it's like, I don't know if I can post these because I'd be talking like, oh, sitting and shooting, it can't really work anymore, but now that we've got this update, it can work, so.
Well, now it's also a question of can you make it work to such an advantage with the time constraints, right? Some of our events, for example, Boy Howdy, you don't start fighting over all 3 of those points of contention until 25 minutes on the clock. So it really limits. That clock can really limit some of what you can do, right? It's going to force you to make some actions that may not inherently make sense beyond. It's a game, and I'm trying to break them in this time.
I love that rule set. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I know that it's been a love child of the last while, and it's a really good community, really good experience taking part in that event. Though a lot of the events are, I can say that genuinely, that this community is a really unique community to participate in.
So buy War of Rights is 50%. It's 50% off.
If autism is your thing, we have it in abundance.
So
Now, it looks like the USA was bringing their gun up a little further, and if I were them, I would definitely do that. That seems like a great ticket,
look at the ramrod.
something to bring into the fight, right? You have everybody else bringing rifles. Go ahead and bring some bigger shot into this, and I think see what they have to say. That would force them to either make a decision or get off the proverbial pot, I suppose.
I appreciate the ramrod following its soldier as it rolls the gun back. It's so very nice of it.
That was the most recent update. You didn't know that.
Also, what's fascinating is the snake fence destruction.
Yes.
This is all gone.
That does change the gameplay. In my early gaming days, I came from an Arma community where the freeform nature of the game really allowed for you to explore some things that in other, maybe games that have, for example, a clock, you're kind of limited in. In this sense, I would be interested to see what an untimed event might look like. As chaotic as that may seem, that could be interesting. Though, certainly within the constraints we have for the game as it sits, I'm hoping we can turn something around here. 12 minutes left on the clock, and CSA is not working out very well. This is a hard attack, though. I think you ask any CSA player, and they'll agree that this is a hard attack because you're taking losses from the moment you step out of spawn to the moment you take that hill. So first is with the mostest is the name of the game, and it's hard to accomplish that goal.
It's fascinating. It's really neat too. When'd you get War of Rights?
21, I want to say.
Okay. It's fascinating when you play this game long enough, because not that there's a whole lot of updates, but seeing the meta change on maps over the years.
Yeah.
So it's so neat.
Yeah, the game is really. I think that's one thing that's really interesting about the game, at least, is that with some updates that we do get, it does change it a little bit. For all that we can complain about, certainly, that at least is enough to keep it interesting for me. Here, I'm interested to see how the accuracy may affect some larger maps, as we might see this next one. Again, I'm rather unfamiliar with this next map, but compared to this one, you really got to step on each other's toes to be able to make an impact. This next one, hopefully, we'll be able to see the effect of long-range engagements.
When the update came out, some CSA they pushed really far out, but when the update came out, my first thought was maybe Union has a shot to keep CSA like back in their kind of not spawn area per se, but in between the straight fence and their spawn.
Right.
I wonder, actually, there it is. So yeah, CSA spawn kind of center on my screen, like this open area here between the Dunker Church and this straight fence. I'm like, oh, maybe Union can shoot CSA and keep them here, but it is kind of deflated for CSA a little bit. But in the first pub match I watched for it, which we'll have to see Regimental, because obviously those two worlds are a little different.
Right.
The CSA just ran over the Union first day of this update, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little sad.
That is the one thing I can tell you that's going to change in my gameplay, as wild as that may seem. Closing the distance is going to be really important in my eyes. If you have the numbers, you really got to bring it to bear and ensure that every shot is a kill. At this distance, it's a question of whether every shot's a kill, and you can see some effect being had there. Not only are we seeing guys dying, with the fence being, pricked apart, but certainly that's a lot less kills than there are shots going out. The more you close that distance, hopefully the greater that effect is, and that's would be my goal, certainly.
So CSA over there maybe looking to move back over, or just readjusting. I don't know. CSA is about to hit breaking. Union is getting there, but Union's got a little bit of a lead, which I don't know if we're going to see final push last stand, but Union needs to get like a third of a morale stage lead at a minimum to have a shot if it gets final push last stand.
Yeah, I know it's really scary here for everybody that's leading out there in the field right now, because you make another push and you are going to go into that next phase here. But as you can see, as the clock ticks on, no matter what, they're still going to tick down again anyway. If I'm out there, I would be definitely trying to encourage everybody to get into those woods and run pell-mell right up to that corner. It's uncomfortable, and you're going to get counterattacked, but that's your only real chance of being able to get that ticket advantage. As you can see, we almost got the USA down a morale stage as well, so if we can keep that cracking on, you don't need many to cap point. At that point, it's just a question of getting to it.
Yep. I wonder if CSA is waiting for Union to hit breaking.
That, to me, seems silly because you have, well, I mean, it doesn't seem silly. You have 8 minutes, right?
Right.
They're going to get it here in the next 2 minutes or so. 5 minutes to set off a charge. That gives you one chance, but it looks like some people are pushing out towards point. I really hope that's a diversionary assault here. Who's this by?
Hit NC. Hit North Carolina.
Okay, well, hey, there we go. That makes sense. Let's keep pushing it right up, hey, little, right up the middle. Unfortunately, those were wasted tickets, but those may not be wasted lives if those guys in the woods actually push. It looks like we're getting a trickle in from the barn, though. So now it's a question of whether the assault on the hill is now diluted from this maneuver here. I don't know.
Guys, that can maybe change. Actually, that can definitely change things. I mean, I would say a 15-man imbalance is too much to go.
But they have 20 more bayonets right now, right? So we're talking 20 more bayonets. Now we're down to 10 more bayonets potentially. Again, first is with the mostest. It sucks, but you really got to look at. They have 13. Oh, they have 13 guys. USA are on artillery.
Yeah, so they have a 5-man infantry numbers advantage, but 13 on artillery. So it's an 8-man infantry imbalance in favor of CSA side.
Yeah, and I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but that is a small unit out there coming in to reinforce, right? That is enough room for me to feel comfortable to do something stupid. You're breaking right now. You got about 2 charges with the clock and the time, or the clock and your tickets.
Which Union hits breaking. Are they going to do something?
Yeah, they're not going to be able to capture that point just by running right up there, though, because the USA is going to be able to shoot it out from them at the least, from the top of that hill, dwindle numbers down, and then just get more on point than the CSA. The question here is, how can they eliminate the numbers on the hill and then transition to the point?
So, based on what I see in chat, 5:30, so in about 45 seconds, we're going to see a charge from the CSA, and they're going to have maybe one more organized charge after that.
Yeah, and that second one's going to be all coordinated at Maine, so you've got a sprint from Maine. The benefit of staging here in the woods that you're closing the distance your guys are running from, a couple hundred yards to maybe 150 yards here, right up that hillside, right? That makes a difference in not only the melee engagement, but then also when they transition to shooting up on the hill, they can actually put bullets on targets. So now, let's see how this goes here. Looks like everybody's getting ready.
Yep, you got twin banners here, a multitude of groups with Florida, 1st Texas, 1st Maryland there gathering up. And here goes CSA up top, maybe a 2-pronged attack. We'll see. Oh my god, I can hear Zapstar. I don't know if you've heard of Zapstar before, Meat Cutter.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I like Zap a lot. Good guy. Yeah, there you go, buddy. Now, if I'm Twin Banners, I'm leading my guys to the base of the hill. I'm going to take over that corner on the snake rail and the stone wall. Because as you can see, our USA is all spread out. You really need to pierce somewhere. Yeah.
Not a lot. And that's actually distracting a fair amount of Union. You can see all Union still staying down, and CSA has the corner for the moment, or the top of the hill.
Yep, they have the corner. They need to hop that fence, though. They need to get aggressive with the ground and seize those caissons. If you can seize those caissons, you completely turn those defenses the USA are using downslope against them. And then you just got to be really efficient with your time. Got 4 minutes, 28 seconds left on the clock.
Union is starting to be pushed off the top, and CSA is going down. Union's trickling guys up.
Those flags better follow them up, as crazy as that sounds. Every reinforcement is going to be valuable right here. Keep moving. Don't stop, boys.
You're saying the Union
those
flag should go
officers
up?
need to be moving. No, the CSA flags need to be keeping up with that charge right now.
Oh.
Keeping those reinforcements right up there with that charge, because if that whole team moves down to the Stonewall fence, they can take it. They're breaking. They have more numbers right there on that fence than they do on that stone wall. That's a win.
I would be scared if I were CSA if I brought my flags down into the chaos that is this and then dropped the flags.
I'm certain, but momentum is going to be key here. They're sitting on the top of that hill. They're going to stay on that top of that hill. Those reinforcements from the USA are going to pour right over that hillside over to the southwest. They're not going to be able to keep them.
3.5 minutes. Union dropped like 3/4 of a stage in a couple minutes here. 2 minutes since that charge started. CSA got their respawn wave ready, and they're going to go in again. The problem is
You
Union
keep that momentum up.
Union, the problem is they're trickling a lot of guys up. They either need to all commit to throw CSA off, or they need to all sit back. You can't do middle ground.
Right.
Which here comes CSA flags as well. So.
Yeah, unfortunately here, they're going to go down. But I think it's also a sign of commitment here. When the guys see those flags coming up, there's a sense of importance, right? You want to protect them. You know that that's your lifeline to respawn at a base level. But unfortunately, as you can see, by the time everybody committed down there, it's turned into more of a trickle here. You can see they're all spread out all along that fence, and that's just not going to do it. A shootout is not, unfortunately, not going to work.
They've got 2.5 minutes. Union's about to drop into last stand. CSA almost in the final push. Final push timer. The clock won't drop because of final push. The clock is too low. But the fact that we are this close at this point in the round is very surprising with how slow things were going at the beginning. But always surprises me.
Yes, yeah, I think I'll eat my words here with respect to a shooting out. I understand this update is different here. Oof. Hope we can get that flag up and keep continuing that push down slope.
Keep shooting, boys.
But hopefully this new meta does change all these maps up even more. I would really appreciate that. Nice.
A couple CSA moving out from main. I mean, CSA flags being down. I'm sure guys are just trying to spawn back in. Which, these Union shots are keeping these flags down.
Yeah.
Oh, the timer dropped like 5 seconds. What? I didn't know it was a minute and a half. I thought it would have been like 2. It's the that final push timer. It drops to the amount of time it takes to get from your main spawn, which you can see CSA is over there, to the point of contention 2 times without getting your bayonets and reloads, which actually, now that I look at it, that's not that far.
No, it's not that far here. We'll see. They might be able to pull this out. The benefit here is that USA's turned that stone wall against the guys on the hill. But real quick, they're going to be fighting 2 directions. Now, we'll be able to still win this out. But the CSA better slam right into them. They got numbers right now.
Yeah, 1 minute left. Union just needs more bodies on the point when the clock hits 0, and they will get the win. And the CSA's kind of trickling from all sides. It's funny watching Last Stand on 500 players because it's like the Last Stand goes a lot longer than what you normally are used to.
Certainly.
Let's see how long this goes. 30 seconds left. Union. I don't know. Looking good for Union.
Yeah.
Maybe. CSA breaking their flags down.
Gun to my head. 20 seconds left on the clock. I think USA has it.
And how's it going on the other? Nothing much there. Nope. Union just needs to keep CSA off the
Just
point,
stay
which
on
I don't
point.
know where that bar is. 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, they got it. They cleared them off that road.
Meat Cutter, your thoughts for the round?
The shooting was really deadly. A lot more than I'm used to. I'll have to take that in consideration, obviously, going forward. But I'm hoping that this was a warm-up. I'm hoping we can see some really, really good charges or some really good assaults here on this next map. Again, I'm unfamiliar with it, so I'm unaware of what we're walking into. But both these teams definitely gave it their all, and hopefully we see it again.
I can't wait for the great description of strategy from Meat Cutter for round 2. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But no, really well done to CSA. You know, I don't know if Meat Cutter has the same feeling, but for me, trying to get used to a meta where sitting and shooting can work and be effective, it's going to take some time to get used to, and we don't know how effective it is yet. That's going to be with time and testing it out. But today, we saw what it can do, and it's so back. CSA used it well. They closed the gap. They charged at appropriate times, and they were like, we have 45 minutes. We're going to use every second of it. They tried using 45 minutes, but Union was able to barely get off the win in the end. Interesting first round. We'll see you all shortly for round number 2. Here we are with the second round. On to Stefan's lot. Looking at our server count here, we're up to 270 now. Always nice to see. Imbalance is 5 towards the CSA side. Artillery-wise, the Union have 10. Confederates have 1. So, Union's down 5 already, and so that's a 14-man infantry imbalance in favor of the CSA side. Weapons on this map. The Union defense has the 14th Brooklyn with the Enfield and the 9th Vermont with the Enfield as well. Meanwhile, the attacking CSA side, both regiments have the same weapons, the 4th Texas and the 56th Virginia. Everyone on the CSA has the option of the Springfield 55, the Enfield, and the Springfield 42. So there you got Buckenball. Anyways, I know you said you don't know this map a whole lot, but, I mean, what are your initial thoughts, if you have any at all?
Yeah, well, looking here, I guess just at this top-down view here, we can see essentially the extent of, or the outer limits, if you will, of the map. We can see the CSAs playing pretty hard center, and they're left. I'm interested to see if they're going to be able to actually make an assault across that big open field on what is the east here. They're gearing up for something. The interesting thing about the USA position, we kind of discussed this a little bit, but there isn't really much of a position to hold. There is a bit of a rise in the hill, in the ground, right? So it gives you some artificial cover there from just the terrain. But once that distance is closed by the CSA, it's a question of, well, really, what do you have to hold on to? And I'm not seeing much by the way of large rocks, or there's some trees. But really, you have the backside of the hill, you know, and not much even further past that. So I'm interested to see what they devise up here.
If CSA take the hill, which they can hold here, the CSA can while not capping the point. Union spawn is here, and it's all open. So
yeah,
it's like Union camp. Union have that one tiny hill they can hold, but after that, it's a complete mess. And the thing is, too, is the whole CSA team can get Buckenball, which got a little nerfed, but when it's come to short distances, if CSA takes this and Union has to charge into them, but Buckenball is going to reign supreme.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm interested to see here, where they're going to close the distance, or is this going to be another one where they shoot it out? Again, they surprised us a little bit last time, and I think, if I'm correct, the teams did not swap, correct? This is the same teams. Okay, yeah, so we may see, I don't want to call it hesitancy, we may see an encouragement of their men to stand it out and duke it out a little bit. As we can see, the ticket drain is in the favor of the CSA slightly, but that could change within a few moments, obviously, here. The match has just begun.
Yeah, we don't know the exact ticket imbalance of each side.
Right.
We do know that after they dropped these maps last December, like a week or so after the fact, they gave the defenders 15% more tickets, or 20%, I don't remember, because the attackers were curb stomping. But I heard Zapstar say over the top, so they're going.
Yep.
I was going to say,
here we go.
I wonder if people are hesitant trying to charge in just because of how buff the weapons are. I wonder if people are hesitant.
It takes 20 seconds to reload. You shouldn't be concerned about that. That's
something
that we all forget. Here we go. I'm not seeing a lot of bayonets. Maybe it's just because we're not zoomed in. Oh, no, there we go. It looks like they're closing the distance here. Now they could really just even hold this ground here, but they're pushing on further, which is not a bad idea. See if you can take it to that line. I wonder how many of them are bringing Bucketball up into this fight.
I hope all of them, but maybe not. Who knows? There's been a real argument the past day or so with Buckenball, if you should take it if you have an optional rifle.
It's a question of whether you're going to close the distance. If not, if you don't feel like you're willing to close the distance and take whatever losses you must incur to do so, then you probably are better off with a rifle.
So CSA bring 2 flags up. They're kind of pulling out of the woods a little bit as Union kind of holds, kind of is the key words, but a couple of Union guys trying to charge out and get those flags. Meanwhile, you got some more CSA pushing up left side of CSA side. Union's having a shootout with them. It looks like they're hopping over to charge. CSA, a lot are sitting back, and it kind of doesn't make sense, because why would they sit back when the rest of their friendlies are charging in and losing flags?
Yeah, right now you got 2/3 of the team pushing in, 1/3 sitting back, and while if you conceptually needed, I don't know, say a reserve or something, but what are they but rifles shooting at the front side of a hill where everybody seems to be positioned on the back side because of the charge. Unfortunately, they're kind of lost there, but this charge was beaten back pretty easily, pretty single-handedly. It looks like flags running back to those guys up on the hill. retrieve their flags? Nope, it looks like they're down
2 down there.
on the hill and in the open. So,
Yeah, it looks like Union's slightly up on tickets as well. But it knocked everyone down, which is what you wanted as an attacker. Looks like that third flag will stay down, so...
well, that's unfortunate. Certainly is. Again, when you're attacking across a big open hill or a field, it can be scary. But you got that 20 seconds in between reload. You know, that's a lot of ground you can cover. You just got to be able to make that calculation in your head. You know, is there maybe some cover in between there or here and there in which we can wait? You know, for that second shot. If it is a long run, as you can see, this hillside up here, there is some rocks, some cover. But really some micro terrain, some undulations in the ground. Hopefully they can use to their advantage to be able to close the distance. I'm not seeing that take effect, but let's see what happens with these respawns coming back up from main.
Yeah, this is the Hooker's push for CSA. Yeah, I mean, they got a few minute trek out. And you'll see a lot with Hooker's push as well is Union has to take 4 or 5 minutes to actually get up into the fighting. And if you're CSA or Union on Hookers, you lose your flags up here, 5-minute despawn timer on it, right? And by time all these CSA respawns get formed up, get their bayonets and reloads, and actually get up to the front, the flags will despawn by the time they get up here. And so then you're waiting another, like, 3 or 4 minutes to get your flag back. And losing your flags, something you don't want. Some Union are shifting a little further forward. But...
I would agree. It's definitely something you want to avoid. I think it's best to be done early in the match, though.
Sure.
Definitely time to recover. And then they can feel out those defenses, meaning really what's the ground that they're occupying. They can see they're in a tree line from that fence line back there. And obviously, it looks like they're taking over some guns. That's I guess, advantageous. You can see now this turns that whole position to a completely different angle and really eliminates some of that cover that they're taking advantage of, right? When you push in there and you just charge into a position, you can kind of feel the ground that you're going to be fighting over and maybe make some alterations to your assaults later down the road. And I'm hoping we'll see some learning or maybe just some, rinse and repeat. Either is both entertaining and fully expected to some degree here on this map, I think.
War of Rights is never boring. It's always fun. Never boring. But, no, exactly as you mentioned, because it's early on in the match. CSA tested the defenses. I really think CSA could do that again, but do it with your whole team this time.
Yep.
And I think it would work great. But even though you charged early and you lost all your flags, you have a lot of time left. You dealt a lot of ticket loss. You're down a little bit on tickets, but not the worst thing in the world.
You know what's really great right now is the USA team's getting kind of cocky and standing up and doing run-up volleys out on top of that ridge line. Well, that doesn't really... I mean, yeah, if you really want to get into a shootout, run-up volleys can be a pain because if you get your timing right, you can lose that coin toss. But I think what this really means is that they're really getting out of position. And I mean that in the most definitional sense, that they're getting out of a spot on that hillside that they can actually defend from an assault. There's some trees, there's some rocks, there's some, micro terrain that they can utilize to their advantage. But when they're pumping out there in front and they're basically standing on the edge of the tree line, well, when a charge comes to meet you, you're going to be standing out there in the wind. And that's good to be a speed bump. But this map, I think, is going to be down to a time thing. Once again, like the last one was.
Yeah, you're also putting yourselves in a really far out exposed position. There's what the 150A guys in the 30th Ohio, which looks like they got a couple kills, but
I love it.
But yeah, the defender, your job is to sit back, wait for the attackers to come to you, pop out volleys. I don't know. It just feels like you could take some unnecessary casualties, but maybe you're dealing some casualties, and that's maybe what you want out of that. I don't know. It's all situational.
That's right.
I think also there's another aspect here. We're playing a game with guys. They're looking to have a shootout, have some fun.
How dare you not do the most meta thing? Union should be turtling and not doing anything in the game right now.
Well, they should, right? And I know sometimes my guys are plenty satisfied sitting back telling dad jokes, being, quite just obnoxious, I guess. But I would argue that on the whole, it can be difficult to be able to build that trust with the guys, to be able to have them sit out and do nothing, for 10 minutes. And 10 minutes is really a long time in the map when it's only, 45 minutes total.
Right. So CSA is kind of flipping the map. I guess they didn't really like pushing up from that side, and so they kind of flipped it. And they're trying to get into a shootout with the Union. I mean, each side is going to be engaged roughly by the 30-minute mark, probably by the 31-minute mark. And that's a lot better than what CSA was doing last round by like 3-4 minutes, I think. So,
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm seeing some actual defenses that they're taking, some position out there on the field using that the terrain to their advantage. That's going to be good. I think the next thing is if they can figure out a way to assault from this position into the open and use that terrain to their advantage to close the distance. I'm sure some of them have buck and ball, and if not, they'll be respawning with buck and ball, and that's when we're really going to see the Union tickets just dwindle away.
I really almost wish this like little nub here kind of extended across the whole length of the railroad track. Just a little trench would be kind of cool.
I think it would be interesting if maybe they had done something akin to the unfinished railroad in Gettysburg, meaning that you can't use it in its entirety all along down the line. Sometimes it's too tall to effectively use to fire from, so it could be turned against you. Yeah, certainly. Right, exactly like that.
That was one of my 2 favorite Picket Patrol maps. Was that map? Just because, as you described, if you go in that railroad cut, you can't really shoot up that well, at least from what I remember.
Right. Now here we can see the USA's really thinned out their line out to the west to beat this, what is, I mean, a large, skirmishing formation out there on the field. I think they're going to win this trade probably, just being that they're going to be able to bring everybody to bear shoulder to shoulder, and they're on easy street right there. I bet you a lot of these CSA rounds are probably falling short, just considering that we're all having to get used to shooting again.
Or they're going above the heads of people.
Certainly, yeah. One way or the other, I'd argue that it's going to take us a while to see really effective fire. At least from me. I know I won't get it, but I'll say some of my guys, they've been putting some time in over the last day or so, and have reported back that they've had to make some adjustments. Certainly.
I mean, just looking at that icon of the bullet spread decrease, it's fascinating.
Certainly. Now, this position here, I'd really like to see them either push out of it or everybody around them push out and seize some ground here, because this is a really small section of ground that the enemy is going to be returning fire on. So it's going to be really easy to hit anything that hits up, so that it stands up, even if you're not trying, And that's really going to be the question here, is who's going to be able to make the most impact on tickets.
As a general note for War Rights, I find it extremely funny that the devs have said certain things like we're working on horses and map editor and stuff like that. But then, like, the past few updates have been stuff like this, where we didn't even expect it.
I think that's also good. I don't know if we want to talk inside baseball too much, but I would assume that we've gotten to the hard problems of the coding, and now it's a question of we've probably run out of funding, right? This many years in the game, who can we pay to do underpay to do really hard coding work? I think that's really what it is.
Right. I think they only have 2 active coders.
Right.
And if anyone's done any type of development or just working on anything in general, especially development, most things take longer than what you originally anticipate.
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
Longer.
Not just that, but if it's a pet project as this was, I bet you there's a lot of accepted errors early on that can compound as you roll things out to the nth degree. But c'est la vie, this game is still something that we can sit aside here and watch these shootouts, because 27 minutes in, I'm not certain that this is going to be the meta we're looking for, but interesting to see it play out. No.
We'll see. I mean, what was it when each side hit engaged? I don't remember. It was 30 or 31, something like that.
I'll take your word for it. Numbers are not my forte.
I mean, I could probably look back at the recording if it's caught up, but... It's about, both sides are about to hit engaged on it, but... we'll see. I mean, CSA bar is starting to drop a little bit, so CSA is definitely a behind, but they've always kind of been behind here. Union bar is starting to drop as well, so we'll see those bars maybe drop a little more than what we've been seeing over the past couple minutes.
Yeah, the advantage here for the CSA and they're spreading out in that field is that their return fire is going to be minimized. You know, everybody's going to be trying to spread their fire out to wherever they think whoever they're, you know, they could either have the best eyes on or they think is shooting them directly. And so you're really going to have to focus sending rounds out in a certain direction, whereas the CSA only has to shoot at that tree line, you know, and everybody's standing on that tree line. So in theory, I would assume that we'd see a lot more of a ticket drain with this, but that USA position must be stronger than I am imagining.
I mean, a lot of them, they've got the trees and whatnot. Also, it looks like this is probably your crest right here, and as we see, majority of the units kind of holding back in that defilade, maybe getting the reloads running up, taking shots. But interestingly, CSA is slowly starting to shift back to the corn.
Yeah, it looks like there's a company over there in those rocks that they might be able to gobble up. Those are, you know, some out-of-line tickets really quickly if you make the movements accordingly. You gobble that up and make a beeline up the road. You might be able to turn this this position against them. Who knows? The second corps, is that what I'm seeing?
Yep, 2 corps. 50A and 6 Louisiana.
Yeah, here we go.
I did take an arc. I didn't come straight here. I took a wide arc.
Now this is not going to benefit them sitting up on this this fence line, though. I would argue you're only asking to get shot by those guys to your left, as well as the gun right up there on the hillside. No, there's a big gun there as a position that guys could shoot you from. I feel like this is not and they're still firing. I don't feel like this is advantageous at all. Yeah, they're under the gun though. This might be good. Let's see if they can actually push the gun out and hit them.
Let's get spicy. What's your take on artillery?
I like artillery if it's, you know, if the map allows for it. I think there are, this many years in, some of the older artillery units are really gracious about knowing, hey, you know, this is not an arty map. We're just going to fall in with the line. And I appreciate that about some of them. But certainly, I like artillery. I think it's a force multiplier if used effectively. The question is it used effectively, you know?
We're gonna give them the business.
The question with all of it.
Certainly. It's a big, it makes a big bang and it's a lot of fun, right? But
line is loaded.
If not used effectively, it's just guys taken away with no bayonets and given a Q-tip, unfortunately. Seems like a good position to send some volleys out.
Yeah, it's a little nice trench.
War situation has not developed.
Tickets are in CSA's favor. They've caught back up and now slightly gained a lead here, but it's a question of time.
Yeah. Looks like USA reinforcements are coming up right now. What's their approach look like? Because they might be able to start swinging around some sides, taking some ground, and making what is this position the CSA's occupied out on the west side kind of untenable. Right now they're able to sit there because they're only taking rounds from one direction. But the moment these guys start peeling around their flank and start, yeah, here we go. Hopefully start taking away some ground from them, they can start playing the same game that they did to the USA up to this point.
And not that they really can, but they can kind of use this corn also.
I know, they can go behind them. I like that. I like that a lot. I'd get my guys right up next to that water, because that limits, you know, the enemy's approach on your flank, and you can just start helling right.
Hey, they did what you said.
Hey, there we go. Get some tickets. Get some tickets. No, close the distance. There we go, boys. Perfect. See those outline tickets? There we go. Now you can even just drop right back into there, even if you don't push up because you don't have the momentum. At least you've taken some tickets, you know.
Fear got one of the flags from Iron Brigade, and he's going to get it again. Maybe. Yep.
Nice, nice. And they have a USA flag in the corn. That's what we're looking for.
I think that's...
So that's some really good
I think that's
takes.
CSA flag.
Oh, that is? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
no,
silly me.
the last Union guy, Fear, he was just killing the flag whenever someone picked it up.
Get it, brother. You know, I know there's often a no Rambo rule, but if you're the last man, I say get it. If you're going to hell, ride in a limo, man.
Yeah, it's this event I don't think has a Rambo rule.
I know that some might like the more free play style. I certainly appreciate the confined rules, at least of the events I partake in, just because that's what I'm comfortable in. But, you know, it does lead to a different game style. Again, that's what's great about this community. Depending on what you like, you got it all out there for you.
I'm getting it.
If you don't like your regiment, join a different
Start
one.
a new one.
Start a new one. Even better. We need more.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like we're starting to shift out of that position on the west, get facing more to the north, which is fine. The USA is going. Yeah, I hope they can capitalize on that right now. They can shift here to the northern field and push right up on that hillside. The USA is going to have less of an advantage bayonet to bayonet right off the kick, just because of the position, right? I mean, you're attacking on its side, but I don't know if they're going to do that. They got to get really aggressive to make it happen.
No, we'll just hold back now.
So, taking losses by 20 minutes, that's what you want as an attacker?
Yeah, I know. It's I can appreciate being satisfied with some you know, wins. Get them where you can. But I'd be losing my mind. My throat would be sore from the screaming at this point, certainly.
It's fascinating because I'll hear you in games. You're like Zapstar, but you yell a lot more, and it's fun to hear. It's beautiful. And then to this, it's great. No, it's beautiful. So, 20 minutes left. CSA has played really, really well. Are they saying anything in chat? Full advance at 1930 question mark. 1930 confirmed. Well, here we go. Maybe.
Okay. And this is the old Sussy, is that right?
Sussy.
Twin Banners?
Yep.
Is that what I'm...
Yeah, so Sussy Brigade is 1st Delaware, 59th New York, 5th North Carolina, and Twin Banners. And Twin Banners is the other 1st Maryland. The one I think is the true 1st Maryland, but that's a different topic. So you got the 1st Maryland, 5th Florida, 1st Texas, and 10th South Carolina, with as an Aussie group. They all merged to Twin Banners. But anyways.
Cracking. Hey, here's the assault. Now this is what we're looking for. You can see they're pressing right up there. That's perfect. You take that gun, push past it. Don't stop. You guys can start fighting in the woods right now, but you need to make sure you make contact and push through them. They're all reloading. This is what you're wanting. You can see they're steamrolling right now. If they can keep that momentum and clear them out of the woods, it's a matter of time.
They are just cooking right through this here.
That's
They're all going everywhere.
That's it. You can't stop. You can't stop.
Oh my goodness, everything's happening.
Cannot stop.
Union's kind of caught off guard. They're getting hit by 2 different prongs, and a lot of Union are spread out that way, and CSA hit right.
Good.
Perfect time.
I am biased here, but good. Fight it out. This is what we're looking for.
No bias here in this broadcast. Both sides taking losses. Union starting to drop fast.
Yeah. Now the question is, can you recover and transition from the assault into the defense here? And you can see there's some caissons they can hold. There's some trees, not many rocks, but they can kind of hold the backside of that hill and recoup some numbers, because they're going to start that assault from the USA. Those guys that were in the open are going to start pushing in, and they can do some damage, mainly because not everybody's going to be paying attention.
So Union's lost 2 flags in the process. CSA actually keeping their flags up, but again,
Press the message, though.
Is that 3?
Follow Gerald. Follow Gerald.
I think this is a Union flag, is it? Has a U.S. flag on it. Yeah, there's an eagle on it, too. So yeah, 3 Union flags down. Union main spawn's pretty close, so they're going to be able to get up there. CSA, not a whole lot spawning at main. Where are their flags? They've got... I thought they would have had one there if those guys were sitting there, but... It's running forward.
Well, it's pushing up. I really hope that these guys start seizing some ground in order to be able to fall back. Because they're... Yep, here they come right now, and here comes the counterattack.
No. We have friendlies here. This is good. Up here.
Regardless of how this all ends, Union's about to hit breaking. Or they're getting very, very close.
Yes.
Union can't turtle either, because this is all open field. I think the corn is out of bounds.
Yeah, no, there is no sense in turtling either. You really need to hold that hill. If you lose that hill, you're not getting it back.
So Union pushing up. Looks like they're probably gonna maybe reform, try to get those flags, which it looks like 2 of them in the center here got picked up. Union trying to go for this last one, which Iron Brigade and 2nd Wisconsin are trying to hold this spot, but Union's going to get that flag out. Pick up there.
Good, good, good.
And some Union, JD is trying to charge Jackson's division in here, some 12th Virginia guys as well.
Yeah, I like them. They're really hard fighters. I've played with some of these guys in events, and I really do appreciate when people are able to, throw something out there on the field, ideally to take options away from the enemy here, and that's what I'm seeing here was that attempt. But those reinforcements came up real quick.
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. Get your reloads.
So, Union forming their defensive line. I mean, point is right here. Don't know the exact boundaries per se. Union is like on the edge of it, but they're about to hit breaking. I mean, CSA can cap and win off the rip. Is Union going to charge in here? Looks like they are.
Yeah, and this is the right position to attack. You can see here that they're going to be able to bring almost all their bayonets there before everybody really knows what's going on here. Coming right now to those bushes, right up into those caissons, into what would be the side here. But hopefully that allows everybody to push through with the woods. Let's see if they take advantage of that.
One Union flag down. You have more Union guys going forward. A lot are sitting back. Granted, there's CSA over there. Kind of going to close shootout with them. Union will win this, and we will get CSA flag down. Meanwhile, CSA's charging on this front. They have gotten Union to breaking.
Yeah. Let's see here. If I'm CSA, I'm going to yeet my way right up there.
Union's going to try to get that flag.
Get this flag. Good shit.
Hey, CSA lost a flag, and that's done. Gone on the opposite team side. That's not good.
Yeah, so they got that one down there, another one down there. CSA kind of has a mini defensive line, but Union should overtake this. But as long as CSA can fight this here, the more tickets that Union's going to lose, and I'm sure CSA wants that.
In my head here, this position they have on this on the northern slope of this hill is going to be really the only staging point they can really bounce from to take point. If they try to assault from across that open field, they're going to get gunned down, and USA will just win that end fight, So hopefully they can punch right through these woods and close the distance. And I'm hearing them trying to rally, but I don't know what this is going to mean if they trickle in. Unfortunately, it's going to amount to nothing.
Doug, why don't you have your pistol out? Must not have ammo. Good shot, Metal. CSA, it's breaking, but they're up by half a stage. 2 flags are still down for CSA.
Where are the reinforcements collecting? That's... Oof, they're all pushing in. Okay, so if those guys up front can hold, which it's not certain.
See,
I think the Yanks smell blood.
Yeah, the Union should charge us out, but because CSA's been aggressive, even if CSA lose these flags, we can kill 5 minutes, and CSA will have 8 minutes, roughly, with all, a little time past that for the flags to get up. Let's see, 6 minutes left. 6 minutes and a half morale stage right now. Be pretty good. Also, flag bearers need to learn that if you start retreating, just keep going. Don't stop and turn around to look at the fighting. You're probably not winning. Why are you running back? Okay, good job. Oh, if a flag bearer stops retreating, 99% of the time you are going to die if you stop doing that.
Yeah, it's really important to make sure that whatever you're doing, you commit to. Especially, I know in this event they're able to communicate some via the chat, right?
Yeah, in the game text chat.
Right, but that's going to be limited to some degree. So if you're going to make a decision as a team, you got to commit to it and excessively commit to it in order to achieve it. Right now, we're seeing some committing. I'm hoping that they full send here with these reinforcements. They've lost the ground they've fought for on both flanks, but it may mean nothing if they at least cap there and take it all home.
Something I just realized is that railroad cut map we were talking about is right over there.
Right over there? Okay. So that's the same rail line then. How funny.
This is Towering Trunks. I didn't realize that Towering Trunks and railroad cut were right there.
I really would love for them to release an untimed option where you have combined, 3 or 4 maps together.
Just explore.
Yeah, or just to be able to have, a free-form engagement on these long maps. That could be interesting. Though it could be like early days of Picket Patrol, a complete waste of time. So we'll see.
I mean, I think a feature like that would be cool for the first time you do it, but then you might not ever do it again.
Yeah, organized regiments would use it for maybe training or private events, but I think that might be the limit of it.
Right. I mean, Farmland is a good example of combining a lot of the maps for Conquest Contention, because that combines like 3 or 4 or 5 maps, I think.
Yep. So we're lining up here on the fence line again, but the USA is wise. They're putting their defenses forward now, realizing that they'd rather take the ticket loss than the loss of ground, because they really don't have that option. Let's hopefully... I guess hopefully the real thing here is if they're going to be able to maintain this line here for the remaining of 10 minutes without losing all their tickets.
I don't, but of course that's why you play the game.
Right. The rest of the reinforcements coming up from CSA. This is the rest of the team, so hopefully this is the impetus for the push.
Can TSA use these guns? Looks like it.
I don't know if those caissons open. Maybe. Those guns are relatively useless in their position, though.
You can.
I mean, you can.
Corn.
Yeah, you could hammer on that position while maybe the friendlies push the flank, but certainly it would require some people that have some good time behind the gun. Oof.
So
Union artillery answering.
1 flag despawned for CSA. So we still got a couple more minutes before CSA will probably make a push, but if anything, Union's lost a quarter of a stage since that charging has kind of ended and CSA started reforming here. So Union's going to be shot in the last stand, and CSA might just sit and keep shooting this out because they've got a lot of time.
Yeah, they have plenty of time if this is the drain that we're seeing, right? This ticket trade is well within the CSA advantage. I would hope to see the USA starting to turtle back behind this hill, maybe not fully, but really committing to this wood strip here and just using it for whatever you can, pushing out to to counterattack whatever ground is being gained, but only once the steam is let out, and that's I don't think that's going to happen here when they're so far forward.
Why are we all here? Spread it, spread it, spread it.
Yep, there you go.
Why are you shoulder to shoulder? Everyone should spread. Spread it out. We need to make as little.
Very true.
Holy moly, that man is right.
As possible is the opposite of it. Spread out. Our guys too. Why the hell are our guys standing here?
Holy shit, I'm gonna spread you.
Well, he's trying.
It was an
I love you
attempt.
too. Now spread the fucking line.
Aw. Second flag despawned. Third one should be going a little later. Maybe a minute or so. Union is about to hit. I was going to say, why are they... Oh, I guess they're using the rocks. They're all... Oh, they're shooting at the CSA guys going for their arty.
Yeah, that's but a distraction here. I wouldn't even pay any attention and be prepared to receive this assault here because we have this line, and I believe there is a little bit of reinforcements coming from Maine, which would equate to essentially the capping force. What a beautiful charge, though. Keep moving, everybody. I hope they don't stop.
Union hit last stand. If they die, they don't come back.
There have been a couple of times where I've definitely ensured that the guys do not have a load when we charge for this exact reason right here. Because you just got to keep that momentum up. Luckily, people, for the most part, are pushing. but there ain't no reason to reload. You got to seize this ground, cap that point, and call it a night.
Which, you got only a couple of Union respawns, not a lot. That was really good timing for CSA when Union dropped in the last stand, but a lot of down flags. I'm going to assume a majority of them are Union, maybe one CSA, because I did... Oh, no, we got the flag out. Doc. Good job there. Uh-oh. Backwoods doesn't want that.
Nice. Get him. Listen, if anybody's going to have a win, it's going to be this guy tonight.
I think John Doe... Oh, nope, he's too far gone.
This is beautiful. Nice. Nice. Congratulations.
And that's helpful. How many... Oh, points going to CSA's favor.
It's
CSA might
definitely
take
not
it.
helpful. Without question, that man was winning a fight for himself and himself alone. But God
This is
bless.
over.
Yeah.
Meat Cutter. I don't know if CSA is going to cap it right here, but in a minute they will. What are your thoughts for our second round tonight?
Yeah, I'm glad to see that the teams seem to be a little more comfortable taking and seizing the initiative. We saw quite a few times the hand of battle changed, just in these 45 minutes here. So that was really good to see. And I'm really excited to be able to play on this map. This actually seems like a fun one. Hopefully I get some more time on it, I should say.
That's the interesting part, is that we get all these new maps, but just because we have so many of them and you only play how many maps in a week or whatever, you rarely ever play these maps, and that's why metas take so long to form and change.
Yeah, without question.
Uh-oh. And no, great round from CSA. They were a little more aggressive at the start. Granted, this map is a lot more favorable to that than the previous one, but they charged. They lost their flag, so they kind of got in the shootout for the middle of the round. That did wonders for their ticket amount, which this sitting and shooting as last round, it's back. But
Yes, we're so back, eh?
We're so back. I'm hearing Zapstar yell.
We shall have this day. Forward, boys.
There you go.
The best part about having a frontline reporter within the Twin Banners is that you hear you hear that
All the time.
all the time, all day, every day.
There we go. 1-1. What a great night. 1-1.
So now we're doing a draw, which is a full conquest. I'm kidding.
We have 6 conquest maps to sort out the
conquest.
results.
And it's the first to cap all 3 points. We keep playing until someone does that, but no. Thank you for coming on. This was a great... I love how we can't see the CSA victory. But anyways, with that all being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon where you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Besides that, though, we have our Discord, merch, X, Instagram, TikTok, and more. Those links are in the description as well. Nonetheless, I appreciate you all being here. I hope you enjoyed. It means a lot to do this. So much fun. And we will see you all in the next one. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night.